In villages, obviously, but no one will sell you that. You can steal some wheat from there and produce grains from it and seed it yourself. Do you need anything else? It can be found on the lowlands. Do you need anything else? What you're looking for? Understood. Of course, who do you want to find? You should... Do you need to find someone else? Sure. Well, between you and me, things aren't great. The village... Sure thing.
The boss of this place is around here somewhere. Is it him? Yeah, I think it's him.
Yes.
Yeah, it's him.
You do? What is it?
That hurt me again. I don't follow what's supposed to be here.
I used to dream of better day. Greetings. I apologize for being blunt, but you're wasting your time. Welcome. What would you like?
No, I don't know what else I'm supposed to do.
Don't try anything stupid.
Keep going.
Yeah, I'm gonna take one guy with me just so I don't die to like wolves or whatever. Does he have a weapon? No, you don't have a weapon, so just go to work as a worker. I'll have them make a whole bunch of spears is what I'll do. There will be pikemen wherever we go. Can I get archers? That'd be sweet. Okay, so...
Let's gather some more herbs from the forest.
I want to research... Oh, good. Smoking rack campfire. Standing torches are being made, and then I want wooden spears. Like 5 of them. Which is wood and flax. I can go get flax. Oh, I'm full. This is a slow game, but I like it. It takes a lot of work to get anywhere. Oops. Speaking of which... Wait, I have 22 million? Jesus Christ. Okay, the books go in my personal chest. Flax seeds. I'll put seeds in here too. I wish looting was faster. I like that this game has a vision. Wood. Damn it. Is that where they're getting the rabbit meat from? Yeah, it must be. 320, 340, 350.
Ice is being absolutely fucking useless. Who could have predicted this? Hello, ladies, men, and non-binary. Back. Yes, America continues to take inspiration from the countries they told us to be afraid of when we were growing up. By sending our president's personal hit squad to occupy our country's busiest
Night's
airports.
coming quick.
Not
Best be
helping
indoors
anyone,
before dark.
mind you. More like meandering around like awkward teens at a middle school dance. What else would we have expected from them? But there's a little bit more to this situation than I've seen people talking about, so let's get into it. But first, a word from our sponsor. With the world on fire, it's important to take care of yourself, and I am nothing if not a fervent advocate for relaxation and self-care, especially after a long day of work and doom scrolling. For me, this involves turning my phone off and turning something else on. I'm so excited to be partnering with Balesa to give you a free rose toy with your order. Click the link in the description to participate. I've been a fan of Balesa for a long time. They actually even sent me a toy that I already have. I will be giving it to one of my friends, but I just wanted to let you know I'm not fucking around here. I really like this company. So let me introduce you to some of my faves. These are my ladies. The first is the Rose, which delivers powerful suction with its 10 different modes. The Rose suction vibe fits nicely in the palm of your hand to provide you with complete control over your pleasure. Next up is the Thump. It suctions, it vibrates, and it thumps. It is designed to replace the other external vibes that you own. And just look how cute these little charging cases are. Like, come on. Finally is the Air vibe. And this thing is probably my favorite. It is dual stimulation, it's waterproof, it's rechargeable, and it is practically silent, and comes in a super discreet case. Balesa is a woman-owned company that promotes sexual wellness through education, empowerment, and fun, because we are all deserving of pleasure. Click the link in my description to participate in this giveaway. This is the best kind of sponsorship because everybody gets something. It's seriously a no-brainer. So go get yours today. Thank you, Balesa. So why is this happening? Well, this is all due to an ongoing partial government shutdown that started on February 14th of this year. At the time of filming this shutdown will have gone on for 40 days. And this entire shutdown means that there's no funding for the Department of Homeland Security, which means technically no paper ICE agents, although they are still being funded through the big beautiful bill, FEMA employees, Coast Guard members, and of course, TSA agents. In total, more than 260,000 federal workers are currently without pay. And understandably, many of these TSA agents who aren't receiving a paycheck anymore aren't going up to work anymore. More than 60% of Americans are living paycheck to paycheck and can't afford to live without money. And the officials at TSA have said as much. As the partial government shutdown enters day 40, airports across the United States are facing hours-long lines with wait times that are now the longest in TSA history. The acting TSA administrator says many officers are struggling to support their families.
News
Some are
from the
sleeping in their
kingdom.
cars, selling
There's
their blood
always
and
something.
plasma, and taking on second jobs to make ends meet. It comes as the transportation secretary warns things could get worse. And I know what most of you are thinking. Yes, another government shutdown. Trump setting another record. Are we great yet? This is after the longest government shutdown in history, which lasted 43 days, occurred between October 1st to November 12th of 2025. And this has also surpassed the longest partial government shutdown, which lasted 35 days, which was also, funny enough, during the Trump administration. December 22nd, 2018 to January 25th, 2019. Which was centered around the US-Mexico border wall dispute. Remember that one? Oh, way, way, way back. Well, at least it's not that. But on a serious note, we have billions to spend on a pointless war. We have billions to spend on our government using AI. We have billions to spend on everything, except the things that will actually help everyday Americans, like healthcare, staffing, and education. No, instead, we are more focused on funding the most out-of-shape, weak-minded, uneducated Nazi pigs, perhaps in all of American history. Anyways, that's a rant for another day. And even though the Dems have tried to get these bills passed, that will allow TSA agents to get paid, Republicans have shot down every single issue bill related to this shutdown. Because inconveniencing everyday Americans is the only bargaining chip that these Republicans have in order to avoid reform policies related to ICE, which is one of the main things that's causing this partial government shutdown that's holding up the rest of these bills, is that the Dems want to push ICE reform and the Republicans want nothing to do with it. And once TSA gets paid, most of the public will not care anymore because they will not be inconvenienced. So sad to say that out loud. So the Republicans' current plan is to just kind of keep going, I guess, until they get their way, and until Congress can agree to fund DHS without them making any concessions, basically. Like I said, there have been many bills that have been put forth by Democrats to exclusively fund TSA while they figure the other shit out, shot down by Republicans. They even created a bill to fund everything in DHS except ICE, so they could discuss the details on ICE while everything else could continue, shot down by Republicans. Also, ICE is still, like, technically funded by the big beautiful bill, so as far as I can see, this is the Republicans throwing a tantrum, stamping their foot because they're not getting their way, and people are pissed at them because it's their fault and because they are now being inconvenienced by this. These Republicans will, of course, continue to blame the Dems and avoid all accountability because that's what they do. The other reason why this is dragging is because Trump keeps trying to push through the SAVE Act.
The Democrats have offered to open up everything but ICE. Ted and I said, okay, let's accept their offer. And then at the same time, we would offer a bill for reconciliation where we don't need any Democratic votes to do whatever we wanted to do with ICE. And that way we're out of the shutdown and DHS is back open. We submitted that. Senator Thune submitted that to President Trump, as is his right. He said no deals with the Democrats. It would have worked. We could have had TSA paid by the end of the week, but the president said no deal.
Now, I talked briefly about the SAVE Act in one of my previous videos and how this is legislation that has me worried. It should have you worried too, because it is essentially just voter suppression. It is imposing a poll tax. It is keeping people from being able to vote and creating more and more barriers to exercise our right to vote, which is allegedly what democracy is all about. And there are even Republicans that are kind of pissed about this, and Republicans that are against the SAVE Act, but Trump is very dedicated to pushing this awful legislation through. Now, as things have gotten worse and worse, he has started to sort of backpedal, but I don't really take anything that man says at face value, so if this situation is ever evolving, this is just what we know right now. And also, I don't want anyone to think that I'm like going to bat for these like establishment Dems, because they have a whole bunch of problems. I've talked about them on my page here, but this whole circus that has come out of this situation is not one of those things. So literally, I filmed and edited this entire video, and we have another update, and I'm bringing it here to you guys. That's why you subscribe, because even when I'm completely done, if something new comes out, you know I gotta add it in the video, because that's my sworn duty as part of the Happy Pancake Lounge. You get the most recent, the most up-to-date intel from me. Last night, the U.S. Senate reached a deal to end the 40-day shutdown, but just today, the House of Representatives rejected it, and now Congress is about to take a 2-week break, which means that this is going to go on for another 2 weeks minimum. Now, the reason why they chose to shoot down this bill is as follows. House Speaker Mike Johnson said the lower chamber would vote, quote, as soon as possible on its own plan to fund the Department of Homeland Security after the Senate approved legislation to fund most of the department.
She's a good tree, I got a feller.
Faced major hurdles in the House. Just for context, this was another one of these bills that basically funded everybody else, but kept ICE out of it because
she was providing shade for this camp, but she's down now.
Include any of the shit from the SAVE Act.
No more shade from her. That's actually cool. She was providing shade for my camp, but she isn't going to be anymore unless she grows back. Log. That's just one log, huh? Alright, well, let's get this thing built. Or a log, huh? Alright. I'll get all these trees that are nearby and get them out of the way. It's kind of a work simulator. It's, I don't know, it's okay. Clear construction area first. No, that's not what I wanted. There's like rock in the way. Well, but I don't have a tool. How do I make a tool? You can't make me a fucking pick yet. The smoking rack is almost done. Stockpile, village hall. I want a simple pickaxe. There. Okay, so wooden spears, wood and crude stone, wood and a strap. Small trap. No, I don't want a small trap. How do you make a strap? Oh, no, I'll have to make like a loom or whatever. Or no, I think I have a strap actually. Simple core, but it's not the same thing as a strap, I don't think. There's another small trap I want to put down. There's a simple core, but I want a strap. I think the strap was like black or something. Bandage. Yeah, there we go. 5 straps. So I guess I could pull some wood. I'll go lay this trap and pull some wood. I mean, it's all really the same, but what does this thing want? It wants flax. Flax, I have to go to the lowland for. Anyways, up and over here, there's a lot of young trees. I've been chopping them down. Let's put this trap down. So I'm gonna do forest log. Yep.
Literally funding everybody else, so all of the people that are still working that are not getting paid, TSA, FEMA, like all of these groups, was just gonna keep funding these employees while the other shit was gonna get debated on. But that, again, was not good enough because these House Republicans are little babies throwing a little fucking tantrum. The House Republicans' plan would extend funding for the entire department, including ICE, at current levels for 60 days. But if passed, that would punt the issue back to the Senate, which has left for a 2-week recess. Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer said it would be, quote, dead on arrival. In a voice vote in the middle of the night, the Senate approved a bill that excludes funding for ICE and parts of Customs and Border Protection. Senate Democrats did not secure most of the reforms to federal immigration enforcement that they demanded, but hailed the Senate-approved measure as a win. Because of course they fucking did, because they're spineless pieces of shit. He also signed an executive order to fund TSA, which is just solving the problem he and his party created, by the way. And this also does not fund any of the other agencies that are currently going unpaid right now due to this partial shutdown. I don't know if he did this just to be like the hero. I don't know if he did this because he wants to get back in the American people's good graces, but he kind of just like gave away the Republicans' last like real bargaining chip. So yeah, I don't know. he's fucking old and senile and an idiot, but I guess I'm glad that the TSA agents are getting paid now. We'll see how this goes. As we all expected, and as many of you have probably seen, this has led to a bit of a situation in America's airports. Let's add in the president's personal hit squad, the ones that have murdered U.S. citizens into the mix. That just add them in. That will surely make things run smoothly. Great idea. And it's gotten so bad that many Americans have actually canceled their trips to avoid the hassle. People have missed flights because the lines have been too long, and this has gotten the airports directly involved. Delta Airlines has suspended special perks for Congress because of the fallout from the DHS shutdown. Why did Congress have those perks in the first place? I don't know, but anything that makes our current elected officials' lives just a little bit harder is a-okay with me. I love that. More, please. Quote, due to the impact on resources from the long-standing government shutdown, Delta will temporarily suspend specialty services to members of Congress flying Delta. Next to safety, Delta's #1 priority is taking care of our people and customers, which has become increasingly difficult in this current environment. Delta has traditionally given VIP service to congressional members, allowing them to skip TSA lines and escorting them to their gates. Now, members of Congress will be told that they are going to be treated like other passengers based on their respective SkyMiles status. Additionally, Delta was suspending its, quote, special congressional desk service for lawmakers until the government shutdown ends. So what is ICE actually doing when they're not torturing and killing people and breaking up families in Minnesota? Well, as it turns out, fucking nothing. Fuck all. Fuckerino. Zilch. Nada. Don't say that too loud or ICE might come for you. We're paying ICE agents to be fucking useless. Meanwhile, the people who actually have a useful job are going without pay. And some of them are still working. Some of them are still showing up to work. And the reason why they're doing nothing, other than them being useless fucks, is probably because their leadership can't even decide on what they should do.
We're simply there to help TSA do their job in areas that don't need their specialized expertise, such as, screening through the X-ray machine. Not training that, we won't do that.
Do they have any,
day,
practical, experience in manning airport security lines?
They run those same type of security machines at the southern border, right? Packages come through or people come through, they run similar assets.
Donald Trump made a brilliant move this week, and he called me and says, let's send ICE to the airport. I thought it was a smart move. And we're filling the holes. The wait lines already dropped. Plus, we're doing a security function at the airports. We're going to arrest criminals going through this airport. We're going to look for human trafficking, sex trafficking, money smuggling. We're going to be at the airports working with our brothers and sisters of TSA.
I could swear I heard
They're
a
our
wolf howling
brothers and sisters in
last night.
DHS. President Trump made a smart move. We're going to keep the airplanes flying. We're going to keep the airplanes flying.
So while we're here, let's talk about what ICE shouldn't be doing. What ICE isn't trained to do at airports. ICE members are not typically trained to conduct core TSA tasks, including aviation safety, baggage screening, pat-down, or operating X-rays. It takes 4 to 6 months to train TSA agents, and every screening duty has different certifications that require annual recertifications, according to a TSA union call. TSA screeners go through weeks and months of specific, quote, on-the-job training around security screenings that ICE officers don't have. Much of that training, experts say, is to detect explosives and weapons and identify threats that are designed to avoid detection at airport screenings, a task ICE isn't trained to do. Now, according to the DHS, ICE agents are trained for a grand total of 8 weeks. 2 months. They had to change it to weeks to make it sound more official, but that's 2 months, meaning TSA agents receive 2 to 3 times more training than them from duration alone. ICE agents are not qualified to be in the same space as them, period. That much has been made clear by their lack of any actual tangible help. But that hasn't stopped DHS from trying to use this opportunity to recover ICE's image. I don't know if you saw that video of him handing out water. Oh my god! 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 I read this, I saw this video, and I found that video of him handing out water. Oh my god! 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 I read this, I saw this video, and I fucking laughed. I laughed out loud because who fucking cares? Who fucking cares, bro? What the fuck? is ICE agents handing out water doing to make the lines at TSA shorter? Everybody's gonna have to dump out those water bottles when they get to security anyway. If anything, this is just a waste. This is an environmental concern. They're not volunteers at the New York City Marathon. Like, what the fuck is this? This is the stupidest, most nothing contribution that I could ever think of. And this is so clearly their attempt at, like, PR. That's how you really know that ICE is useless. Like, even when they have control over the narrative, even when they have all the money, they have all the funding, they have all the support from the top. When they are shoveling propaganda in our faces, this is the best they can come up with? Are we serious? Jesus Christ. Oh. Wow. Now, while ICE isn't helping with the TSA lines, they are still finding time in their day to harass people of color and detaining them in airports.
What's your name? Show the badge. Where's the badge? Where's your badge? Can someone call 911? Where's your badge? Can I see him? Let me see your badge. Okay. Can I see your badge? I don't know if that's legitimate. Can I see your badge number, sir? What is your name? What is your name? Where's your badge number? Okay, well, wait. I need to see her badge number. Step back. I don't know who you are. You could be someone kidnapping her. We should call the police.
And this is apparently something that TSA actually helped with.
Yeah,
Why
I'm
the
sure
fuck
they
are
did.
taking their side?
Why do you think they're there?
You can't even get paid. They're getting your paycheck. You fucking idiots. What's the deal? I truly cannot imagine being so subservient to an overlord. Like, I just can't. This was at the San Francisco airport, and the mayor, Daniel Lurie, posted a statement on X that was disappointing. Like many San Franciscans, I found the incident at SFO last night upsetting. I have spoken to leaders at SFO and SFPD, and we believe this is an isolated incident. Why? Why do you believe that? What fairy tale did someone tell you to make you believe that this is going to be an isolated incident? That this is going to be a one-time only incident? All of this is new. You have absolutely no evidence to believe that ICE will stop foaming at the mouth while in the presence of someone with a fucking accent. In fact, if we're looking at evidence, everything says the contrary. Because if you start putting forth rules that say, oh, well, you know what, we can have ICE in our airports, they just can't do X, Y, Z. They're not gonna follow those fucking rules. Our vice president said that they have fucking immunity to killing someone, to murder, okay? They're not gonna listen to you. You are living in a fucking fairy tale. You are delusional, my guy. Like, are we seriously this fucking naive? He goes on to say that we have no reason to believe there is a broader federal immigration enforcement at SFO. Again, why do you have no reason to believe that? What in the world has caused you to believe that? Please don't tell me that it's just what these officers are saying, just taking them at their word. Because that's fucking insane to believe them at this point. In the year of 2026, that's fucking insane. One of the state senators actually had some balls. Funny enough, his name is Scott Wiener, so if anyone's gonna have balls, it's probably gonna be this guy. Came out and stated that ICE is not welcome in San Francisco or at San Francisco International Airport. Again, literally the bare minimum at this point. We don't need ICE or Border Patrol or any of these other thugs in our city and in our airport. They're not welcome here, and they need to stay the hell out. Live. Love that. He also expressed skepticism about DHS's statement, saying he takes statements from the administration with a huge grain of salt. Finally, someone with a fucking brain. An unintended perk of all this, however small, is that the ICE agents' faces are not being covered in airports. At first, I was assuming it was because they had to keep their faces uncovered for, like, security purposes.
Oh no,
at the airport.
it's an
Like, you know
airport. They're
how
not allowed to
you
do
have
that.
to uncover your face at security so they can, like, verify your ID.
Oh my God! So they didn't think about this, but they sent all these ICE agents to airports, and that forced them to expose their faces to the cameras. So now all the crazy people out there have a bunch of these ICE agents' faces. And let's see how they like all the deep state surveillance. Let's see how they like that.
And that they're doing this and that this is happening is because Trump told them to.
So ICE has done very well.
I've requested, now you know I'm a big believer that they should be able to wear masks when they go and hunt down, murderers, criminals, and others, but for purposes of the airport, I've requested that they take off the mask. I don't like it for the airport, and I believe they are willing to do that.
Why do they wear masks? Not at the airport, but they need to do it when they're out in the country.
Because the people coming into the airport, typically speaking, aren't murderers, killers, drug dealers, etc. There may be a few of them, but there aren't many. They're people that want to come into the country, or that people want to leave the country, go into maybe their home country. So I didn't think it was an appropriate look for an airport.
How silly of me to think that ICE would have to adhere to the same circumstances as common folk. But again, this to me is a positive. So we will take it as such. You're not trapped here with them, they're trapped here with you. Film the shit out of them. Photo and film. I truly have no idea why Trump did this. I included the clip to show what he said, but I don't believe a single thing that comes out of that man's mouth, and you shouldn't either. The only reason I can think is that he's looking for more fall guys and scapegoats for when this regime fails. We are getting closer and closer to those midterms, and I think they are all very nervous for what will happen once they lose the majority. I literally predicted that this would happen with Kristi Noem and Pam Bondi. The entire reason why they put these women in very visible positions was so they could pin these crimes on them while protecting their little boys club. These women are not victims, make no mistake, but that is why a notoriously misogynistic administration has these women in very prominent positions, so they can be the ones taking the blame. I imagine a similar thing is being done with these ICE agents right now, especially now that the general public's perception of ICE is so fucking low. The majority of Americans have absolutely turned on ICE and Trump's immigration plan in general. So I wouldn't be surprised if he was using this as an opportunity for the public to catalog ICE agents for eventual prosecution. It would allow the public to satisfy their bloodlust while keeping even more sinister players out of the line of fire. ICE agents are, after all, boots on the ground. They're the ones who are literally killing, raping, and torturing people. They should be the ones prosecuted, and making them show their faces is one of those barriers eliminated. Once this is all over, the people in power will be able to protect themselves. They have money, they have power, they have networks and connections. All these ICE agents have is the taste of boot in their fucking mouth. And if the rest of the country or fakes their death, that anger that the American public has will need to be satiated. And I imagine this will be done through prosecuting ICE agents. But that's just my theory on all of this. That's what I think, because this seemed super out of left field, did not make sense to me. So that is my reasoning behind it. According to local troll living under bridge Steve Bannon, this is also a test run for ICE being placed at polling stations for the midterms.
We can use what's happening with these ICE helping out at the airports. We can use this as a test run, as a test case to really perfect ICE's involvement in the 2026 midterm election, sir?
So yeah, I know it's funny to joke about how like the ICE agents aren't doing fuck all, and we can have a little ha-ha hee-hee about it, but I don't want that to become too normalized, because this is an intimidation tactic. It is designed to get you accustomed to the idea of constant military presence and surveillance. Do not normalize this. This is fucking crazy. Even if someone was supporting like everything that ICE is doing, you're a fucking idiot. But even if they were, this is not about immigrants. This is not even about people of color. This is about asserting power over the population and trying to scare them and intimidate them into submission. So what can we do? Well, the best thing that we can do is be loud and say that we don't want this. Continue to take pictures. Film these ICE agents if you're at the airport. Make them uncomfortable, especially if you're a white U.S. citizen. Use your power and your privilege. What we don't want is for this to get normalized, where we are now living under military occupation. Also, reminder, ICE is still in Minnesota. Yes, Minnesotans have continued protesting and taking a stand against ICE, but just as a reminder, to people outside of Minnesota, ICE is still there. What I don't want is for this to permeate throughout the remaining aspects of American life. We want ICE out. Keep pushing this sentiment. Push this with the people that are entering Democratic primaries, especially Democrats that are up for election in the 2026 midterms. Abolish ICE. They are useless. They are evil. They are violent. We don't need them. We don't want them. Get them out. This is the bare fucking minimum. And this is exactly what we should be demanding of people who are running for office. As always, I have a One's GoFundMe linked below. She was supposed to attend university this year, but Israel bombed her home and her school out of existence. If you'd like to donate but you don't have the funds, you can always watch my D&D campaign, Westerly Academy, where all the ad revenue goes directly to Palestinian families. So by literally watching D&D, you are helping the people of Palestine. Make sure to check out my sponsor in the description below. And if you'd like to support me directly, you can always subscribe to my Patreon if you want to be a real sweetheart. As always, thank you so much for watching. Subscribe if you want to hear more from me. Please take care of yourselves and each other. Bye. Very special thank you to Labels Down, Derek, Anonymous, Tiny Axes, and Robin Fellows.
This line stretches all the way down here, but here's the new wrinkle. Step outside with me real quick. You kind of have to see this one to believe it. This is actually still the TSA pre-check line. This line now wraps outside. So if you think about it, it wraps around the
Glad it's my home. Let's gather some more herbs from the forest.
Hello. Did you find it? Without being followed? Brilliant. It's going to be anarchy. Especially if they're drinking tonight. Oh, it will. And here.
Where's the elder at? I can never find him.
Oh, sure. Just walk through me next time.
Yes? I have a little task for you, if you are interested. It's quite... I'm trying to construct a little memorial for my parents.
The innkeeper's been complaining about rowdy guests.
So he's on the north side of the city.
Yes. I'm afraid I don't have anything for you to do right. Anything else?
Talk to Padstow Zelder. Okay, where's that? Padstow. Oh, Bradford, Padstow. Okay. They want me to go south down the road. Can I hire another dude?
I fear for my... Greetings. There was a time when we were more welcoming, but that was a long, long time ago. Hail.
Alright. Well, Oh, nice. More money. So we need
Stop wandering around.
spears, I guess. I have to go get spears into the hands of my dudes. And then I'll take them as a force through a bandit camp and oh, I suppose I should save. I've done a lot of work here. Yeah. I'm gonna take them through a bandit camp. What about you? You have a weapon.
We are keeping the... Don't waste my time.
It's a very beautiful naturalist game. You can farm everything like New World. I might as well, really, while I'm out here. Bring back a load of wood with me. Oh, no, I can't. I guess I can't. Oh yeah, I want to order up some spears. So, I want to research the elm short bow, which is simple cord and river reed. Wooden spears requires crafting 2. Modify buildings and call to arms. Modification mode, never mind. Okay, I think I'm gonna switch games here. Or I could just go to bed. I mean, I'm gonna stay out this Eve up, I guess. I could farm, I guess. They want me to get spears. Spears takes crafting 2. Okay, so if I read a book for crafting, $30 minutes. So I can't craft them spears even, I don't think, unless yeah, like a primitive club. I don't know. Oh, primitive club takes 4. Oh no, I can make these things. I just need wooden flax. Okay. I have a raid incoming now. We don't have weapons yet. Oh yeah, they're coming from the west, are they? I guess I could build them all spears. If I went up there and I have to pee before I do anything, but oops, yep, go. Gonna go pee. I'll be right back. I'm gonna get a glass of frozen fruit. Okay, sorry. sportsmen's in a phantasm.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, it just seems like things keep getting more expensive. You know, I didn't expect to kind of make this video, but I saw this thing from PlayStation starting April 2nd, 2026, literally a few days later. They're deciding to jack up the PlayStations again. I think this is probably the worst generation of PlayStation that I've actually seen. You know, we started in 2020, you know, during the whole pandemic thinking, alright, you know what, new PlayStation's coming out. Things were kind of expensive back then. You know, I believe the PlayStation launched at like $500, like flat. And now if we look at the actual price for it, $649! Hey, American! Now, of course, if you buy that digital edition without the disc, that's about $600 now. The Pro? $900 fucking dollars now in the United States. Now, I want to just show you how bad things can end up actually being. So if you live in Canada land like me, this is what a PlayStation 5 Pro costs. Apparently it's selling fast because it's currently $959 Canadian. Almost $1,000, by the way. Actually a fucking $1,000. You know, once you, because you gotta pay taxes on this bitch. It's not like you can cheat the tax man. Okay, you have to do that. Now, if you do the price hikes and you actually calculate the price for it, I guess we're looking at about 1,200 Canadian dollars. That's the 900 US converted to the Canadian dollars. And again, that's pre-tax, bitch, because you can't cheat the tax man, okay? The tax person is like the mafia. If they want your money, they're gonna get your money, okay? Simple as that. Now, of course, you know, obviously, there's gotta be a reason for this, Muda, and there is, okay? So, with continued pressures in the global economic landscape, shit's fucked these days, okay? It is. They're not joking at Sony. You know, I was out there driving, and you know what's funny? If you look at gas prices, so in Canada, the average gas price is like $1.65 where I live per liter. Now Americans would probably be like, whoa, that looks cheap. No. A liter, okay? I think there's like, what, 3.75 liters to a gallon? So when you do the actual price conversion, it's like $4.50 American, okay? And mind you, this is $1.65, I believe. Is this with the taxes or not? What doesn't matter? It's expensive, okay? It's pricey. It's a lot of fucking money. So yeah, obviously I can understand what PlayStation's saying. We've made the decision to increase the prices of the PlayStation 5, the Pro, and the PlayStation Portal. The tablet with the controller on the side. Oh man, even that's going up. We know that price changes impact our community. Yeah, of course. Absolutely. After careful examination, we found this was a necessary step to ensure we can continue delivering innovative, high-quality gaming experiences to the players. Now, I think it's hilarious coming from companies this generation where it feels like more layoffs, more shit has been shut down. The whole remake, remaster culture surrounding video games has exacerbated to the point that it really honestly feels like we're not getting as much new gaming experiences compared to what we probably would have gotten with a similar generation in a similar time span. That's not to say gaming sucks. I think really what I'm trying to say here is the reason to purchase a fucking PlayStation or an Xbox or really any console has dramatically dropped to the point that because there's really no reason, right? There's really no reason to lock yourself into a vendor like PlayStation, who, by the way, charges you money to even play some of your multiplayer games online. Like, you buy a game like Battlefield, bitch, you better be buying the subscription service to even play that game online. You want to play some classic video games? You can't just stick one of your old PlayStation 2 discs and download an emulated version off their platform, or even use an on-device emulator. You might have to consider paying them extra money on top of your monthly subscription to even stream classic games, to stream their Game Pass-like equivalent experiences. I mean, we're at a point where these systems, which I believe kind of started off with the business model of we'll take the loss on the hardware, and maybe they are kind of still taking the loss on the hardware if you look at the actual prices, but then we're going to make up the money with gaming experiences, maybe subscription fees, and that's pretty much what it comes down to. So I looked at gaming computers with like my local store, Canada Computers, that I go to for pretty much most of my computer needs. Some people think that I'm like sponsored by them. I'm not. I literally just use this computer store. It's either this, it's either Newegg, it's either Memory Express, or whatever other Canadian vendor you have, okay? The point is, no matter who you go to for computer hardware, okay, you're basically spreading your ass cheeks because you are getting financially fisted. But I looked at the pre-built gaming computers, and, you know, for like $1,099, you're getting a Ryzen 7 5700 and RTX 3050, 16 gigabytes of RAM, and that's like, wait, what's the difference between the open box and the regular? Why is it the same price? Wasn't the open box supposed to be cheaper because it was open? But again, obviously for a gaming computer that you probably actually want to get, right? You know, you're looking at prices at around like $1,600, $1,700, and you know, to be honest with you, like comparing this to like a PlayStation, I would still actually consider this to be a better deal because you can actually do a lot more with a gaming computer versus like a $1,000 box that literally can only just play video games. That's one of the things that I kind of don't like about modern gaming systems, simply because I feel like the actual
they shat the kids.
isn't necessarily there. You know, I skipped out like a couple weeks ago talking about something called Project Helix, where Microsoft was making their next generation of Xboxes, but they were also making these kind of like hybrid computers and gaming consoles where if you wanted to install Windows on this and use it as an actual gaming computer, you apparently can. And honestly, like, even though that this is also probably going to be expensive, because again, you have to understand the actual cost of the parts that are required to produce these gaming consoles have jumped up. And again, it's no joke. If you look at the actual cost for some of these RAM prices, like a DDR4 stick, 2x16 gigabytes of RAM, you know, if you look at the Canadian prices, back in June 2025, you were looking at somewhere around like $100 to like $120. That same stick, that same kit has jumped up to the point where it's now about $400, okay? 4 times basic price increase. So I can understand why PlayStation has decided to jack up prices. In fact, I'm not going to deny it. I would probably have expected, based on this graph, that it might jump even higher. But that's unfortunately the goddamn reality, okay? Xbox is not immune to it either. That Xbox Helix, whenever it's going to come out, is also going to be pricey. The other device that I'm kind of interested in was the Steam Machine, just to buy and maybe stick it underneath like a television to have like an actual like gaming PC console underneath it. Even in that, I expect the Steam Machine to probably cost the same as the PlayStation 5 Pro, if not, maybe even a little bit more.
Wow.
Because that's just where things are kind of at. You know, I was looking at even game prices too, right? Like, even games like Pokemon Pokopia, which I'm not particularly interested in, but I saw everyone giving it like rave reviews. In Canada, that $70 like American just goes to like 99 Canadian, pre-tax by the way. because the tax man's still gonna want their fucking cut, okay? They're like the mafia. It's like Tony Soprano. If he comes in knocking for that money, you better give him that money. You know what I mean? But that's already up there for $100. Like, I don't know if you've been following this too, but even Netflix, yeah, Netflix, who, by the way, has had probably the worst content drop that I've ever seen in regards to any streaming platform, has decided to jump their prices up just a little bit more. Maybe by like $1 or $2 across every plan, but it's still like $1, you know? It's like raising, it's like boiling. You raise it a little bit. Just a little. Maybe people don't know. Maybe people are too lazy to fucking get out of there and quit their streaming service. But,
Oh, he killed me! That son of a
not just
bitch.
gaming has kind of risen up to a point where I just don't see how sustainable any of this market is. You know, going back to things like PlayStation, when I look at things like PlayStation 5 only video games, there are only 23 titles that apparently have just been recorded. And again, this is just Wikipedia, but you can see right over here that games like Astrobot, you know, it's probably the only game worth getting over there. Playroom, I'm not going to count, that comes with the actual system, and it's mostly just a tech demo game anyways. You've got games like Demon's Souls 2020, which again is a pure remake. You could probably just play the original PlayStation 3 version in a fucking emulator and get the same effect, the same thrill out of it. Games like Destruction All-Stars, which I believe is just a live service game. I don't even know if that's even alive. Ghosts of Yotei, God of War Sons of Sparta, God of War Trilogy, not out by the way, Intergalactic, not out by the way, Marvel's Wolverine, not out yet by the way, and of course the further you go down over here you can see that games like Theros, which is just Returnal extended again, and then of course The Wind's Rising. So you have to look at this and think, is this a good library of games to go down into and purchase an entire system? Or maybe is it time that, you know, PC gaming, which used to be generally more expensive, and I'm not going to deny it still is more expensive, but I feel like with these new prices for the PlayStation, at what point is looking at a PlayStation for $650 when you have to factor in that every single game that comes out of here is going to also cost you like a full $60, $70 as well too. And now they've started allegedly doing like regional pricing, so they're trying to optimize how much money that they can gouge out of you. Then you have to pay for subscription services to play online, or maybe even do some fucking backwards compatibility, which, by the way, can I just say how much of a scam it is with modern commercial backwards compatibility? When you've got projects like Shat PS4,
My beautiful
literally,
kitty.
I'm showing you right here on my actual screen. You can install games like Bloodborne right here, hit play, and you can play these games basically up to 60 frames per second on a modern computer. Actually, you know what's even funnier? You can even emulate this thing on the Steam Deck, for crying out loud. Some of these emulators have gotten
Is your ear
that
itchy,
performance.
kitty?
Now, of course, you can play Bloodborne on a PlayStation 5, but I mean, if you want to rock it up to 60 frames, you know, you can't even just go into your console settings and modify stuff, or even find a way to hack that in. A lot of these consoles come basically as gimped computers anyway, so if you're going to spend that kind of money anyways, if you're going to put shit on Klarna, you might as well put something that has more capability on Klarna and call it a day. Which is one of the reasons why, like, I think at this point, you know, if anybody's going to recommend things like gaming, you might as well just recommend them a PC, because at least with PC you get everything across the board coming to it. Literally the only game, the only product on PlayStation that I think actually matters to me right now, this year, is Grand Theft Auto 6. If GTA 6 was dropping on Steam day one, I probably would just buy that game on PC day one anyways. Because even when it comes to PlayStation...
Why would you play Grand Theft Auto on
a
a controller anymore?
It was kind of on there. It was something that I saw with Crimson Desert recently, which is the reason why I bought the game on PC. Normally I buy a lot of my games on physical disc because I like to own the 1.0 versions, but even looking at PlayStation, they basically had a pretty big budget release come out without being completely on the disc anyways. And, you know, when I start to look at other games too, especially from, you know, manufacturers like Xbox or Microsoft release similar broken builds, one of the things does have me kind of worried is that in the future down the road, maybe even Sony's going to go out of their way and try to phase out physical media even further. And honestly, if they do that, you know, if they really get away with that, then sticking to the PC is basically the only, you know, platform that I can really promote. Because if you're not going to be able to physically own your titles, but you're getting all the downsides of digital ownership, especially when it comes to these consoles like Xbox or PlayStation and even the Switch, you might as well, again, I'm not even joking, strictly switch over to the PC at this point. I think this is probably one of the most harrowing things I've seen. Usually by now, gaming consoles are supposed to get cheaper, right? It's funny, like at this point, 6 years into the lifespan, you know, if you were looking back in the days of the PlayStation 2, it'd be like, hey, the PS2 Slim dropped with a price drop, and it actually, you know, is great. You know, by this point, the PlayStation 3 Slim would be out. The PlayStation 3 Super Slim would be out. By this point, the PlayStation 4 Slim comes out, and again, the PlayStation 5, I think Slim does exist, but the prices have just generally raised, and there's really not much of a reason, I think, to go out and actually get these devices. You know, I understand why PlayStation raised it. I get it. They're a fucking business, and everything is expensive across the board. You know, and I can understand.
Yeah, but remember, this is for kids. You guys raise prices on kids.
But when we're getting to a point where console prices have reached $1,000,
yeah,
it's getting really tough to recommend this to anybody out there, you know? And I think the amount of people that are just jumping at the bit to buy these things before the price hike on April 2nd, maybe it's coordinated by Sony, maybe they want to just sell some product, but honestly, that's a conspiracy theory too far to even entertain. Look, at the end of the day, shit's getting fucking expensive, way too expensive. And it's just a shame to see, like, gaming is obviously one of the victims to it because, you know, we're in this technological index where AI bubbles and, you know, constant, like, AI tech bros. You know, it used to be the crypto bros made graphic cards really expensive, but now the AI companies have made every single product expensive. I was reading the other day that even processor shortages are about to be a thing.
You won't find
so you've got
anything
RAM
better.
shortages, SSD prices through the fucking roof. GPUs are effectively non-existent, you know, in terms of actual innovation anymore. And now we're getting to the point where even the processors that we're using, even they're all being targeted. So I understand why PlayStation did it. Unfortunately, the price hike makes it so that recommending to buy it is just no, like not happening at all. PlayStation, everything is getting fucking expensive. It's just it's the unfortunate reality we're in. But anyways, I think $900 MSRP for a PlayStation 5 Pro, USD by the way, is laughably the stupidest thing that I've fucking seen. But yeah, I don't know. Kind of wanted to talk about it because what's happening, man? What's happening? You know? Anyways, I am out.
This kitty, I love her. Okay, guys, I think this is a natural place to stop for me. I'm going to save. Go. Save game. I don't know. You're not letting me. Save. Quick save and quick game. Yep. Bye. This op is over. Compress, yep. And, stack. And there is 62 million. I will go turn in, and this is the last thing I do tonight besides upload. It is fun to wind down. Oh, kitty, I love you. Mm-hmm. in my opportunities, I have things. Claim all. Active mine units of ore. Corporation projects. Truck. Duck.
Warp drive active.
Unused skill points? Working on cloaking to 5.
Docking permission requested. Docking request.
Okay. Gonna drop ice in this corporation hangar for projects. There we go. Go. And then personal assets, opportunities, reward, 48 mil. Nice, and we're going back up. Cool. Okay, undock. I'm going to log here, but I'll jump out first. You have been watching Skycat Live. I'm a full-time variety gamer all day, every day. Put me on in the background. Click on the cast face to donate. Come to the Twitch or the YouTube. Give me a like, sub, or a follow. I'm going to bed. It's damn near 4 a.m. and you know, ready to get going. And here we go. And I'm going back to the station before I log. Dock. And then I will stop this recording here with a reminder that I have thousands of videos on my YouTube channel, which is reflected here. I record every session all day, every day, and I will place those on my channel. If you want to see anything that you saw here again, today, just check me out tomorrow, and I'll have uploaded it so you can watch yesterday's session or today's session tomorrow or something. Or yesterday's session, today's tomorrow, something. I don't know what I'm trying to say. I'm exhausted. Anyways, I love you guys. Thank you so much. And I will see you tomorrow. Bye.
Docking request
And
accepted.
the stream will continue, but the recording is going to stop. I love you. Bye. Oops, that was the wrong button. I want to stop.